It seems that Democrats on this committee, sort of like Peter Pan and Tinkerbell, if they say Project 2025 enough, their presidential candidate becomes alive again.
And you said, I may have a desire to sleep with many women, but I do not.
I agree with me. Yes, that's true.
Congratulations on your,
Ladies and gentlemen, we have witnessed a crime scene on Capitol Hill today. Representative Eric Swalwell thought he could bring Ben Shapiro into a hearing, set a few lazy traps, and get his viral gotcha moment for MSNBC. Instead, he walked right into a buzzsaw. Swalwell tries everything. Project 2025 gotcha quotes about sin, you name it. And every single time it backfires so hard, the entire room starts laughing. Stick around, because we're going to break down exactly how Shapiro dismantled this line of questioning scene by scene. Let's get into it.
Mr. Shapiro, thank you for joining us today. I think it is important that you're here as one of the leading conservative voices in the country. And the country has, in the last couple of weeks, talked a lot about and Googled Project 2025. It's one of the most Googled search terms right now. And you're not going to get any censorship from me. So I just wanted to know, from your perspective, I think it would help us understand, on just like a scale of 0 to 100%, how much do you support Project 2025?
I think, like President Trump, I haven't looked all that deeply at Project 2025, but it seems that Democrats on this committee, sort of like Peter Pan and Tinkerbell, if they say Project 2025 enough, their presidential candidate becomes alive again.
And so, well, let's just talk about pieces of it, and I guess you can tell me if you support it. You probably want less bureaucracy, right?
I do.
I want less bureaucracy. You want more efficiency?
I do.
I want more efficiency. You want taxpayer money spent wisely?
I do. Congrats on becoming a Republican.
Yeah. Yeah. My parents would be proud. Mass deportations, it calls for that. Do you support that part?
I support the deportation of any illegal immigrant who is in the United States who is not of benefit to the generalized American public.
So if they're picking agriculture that puts food on the tables of everyday Americans, they've never committed a crime inside the United States, they didn't come across with documents, should they be deported?
If they have not paid taxes and if their draw on the taxpayer benefits are larger than the contribution they are making to the economy, or if they're involved in criminal activity, they should be deported.
How do we measure that?
The same way that the IRS measures my income every year. It seems like if the IRS can track down every aspect of every receipt that I've ever submitted, and so they can do so for hundreds of millions of other Americans, they can do that for illegal immigrants as well, except for the fact that no one knows how many are in the country thanks to this administration.
So you would be cool with creating a system where they could pay those taxes if they wanted to, and then stay and work and put food on our table?
It depends on how long it would take for them to pay the taxes, and they would also have to go presumably to the back of the line, although I'm not sure why I'm testifying about immigration policy at this point.
How about banning the abortion pill? That's part of Project 2025. Do you support that part?
I think that that's a state-by-state issue on a personal level.
I'm just asking you.
Sure, I'm a fully pro-life person, which means that I'm not in favor of the distribution of the abortion pill.
Banning same-sex marriage, what about that part?
I am in favor of traditional marriage between a man and a woman, and I'm perfectly fine with anyone having any sort of voluntary sexual arrangement they seek. That's a different thing from whether the government should attach benefits to that personal relationship.
But you think it's a sin to have same-sex marriage?
I mean, I'm confused. Are you asking me as a religious Jew what I think about biblically?
I'm just asking, is it a sin to be gay?
Is it a sin to be gay? I mean, how long do we have here? 2 minutes? I mean, if the basic idea is that sexual orientation is up for a government regulation, I'm not in favor of the government regulating the private consenting sexual activity of adults. That is a different thing, once again, from whether the government ought to engage in actual benefits for particular sexual arrangements that adults make.
But again, just you to me, is it a sin or not?
From a religious Jewish perspective, orientation is not a sin, but activity is. That's also the same perspective of most major religions, so far as I'm aware.
Okay. And how about cutting Social Security? Do you support that part of 2025?
I'm not sure what Project 2025's position on Social Security is. I'm in favor of the restructuring of Social Security along the lines of privatization and lowering and increasing the retirement age, because you, as well as every other congressperson, knows Social Security is going to go bankrupt, and yet everyone seems to have an interest in lying about it for the next decade and a half until we have to take austerity measures or radically increase inflation or taxes.
And bans against books about slavery. Do you support that part about?
Why would I possibly be in favor of bans about books about slavery? That would be
Good answer.
absolutely ridiculous. What I am in favor of is the idea that school libraries should be able to make decisions along the lines of what exactly is appropriate for, say, a 7th grader and whether they ought to be treated to cartoons and genderqueer. That's not quite the same thing.
And just because we found some receipts, you did say, I think homosexual activity is a sin.
Yes, I'm a religious
I'm
Jew.
sure
That's true.
there's a genetic component.
You
to
found me
sexual
out.
Orientation, but the view of all religious people I know has always been that sexual behavior is something that is up to you. And you said, I may have a desire to sleep with many women, but I do not.
I agree with me. Yes, that's true.
Congratulations on your, yeah.
Okay. Wow. I mean, did Eric Swalwell's team do any prep work before this? That was painful to watch for him, but absolutely hilarious for the rest of us. Let's just look at how this started. Swalwell opens up with this Project 2025 boogeyman, trying to tie Shapiro to it. And Ben's response, the Peter Pan and Tinkerbell line. That is how you disarm a politician. He didn't get angry, he just mocked the premise. He basically told them, you guys are hallucinating this into existence because your candidate is weak. It immediately took the power out of Swalwell's first punch. The bureaucracy trap. Then we get to that weird moment where Swalwell tries to trap him in bureaucracy. He asks, do you want money spent wisely? Thinking Ben is going to say something controversial, Ben just says, yes, congrats on becoming a Republican. It's such a quick pivot. Swalwell wanted a fight, and Ben gave him an agreement that made Swalwell look like he was arguing against his own party's track record. But the real masterclass here was the immigration segment. Swalwell thinks he has him cornered. How do we measure if an illegal immigrant is a benefit to society? It's a classic rhetorical trap. But Ben's comeback about the IRS, that was lethal. He's saying, hey, your government tracks every dime I make down to the receipt. Don't tell me you can't track people. It uses the government's own overreach to defeat their excuse for incompetence. Just brilliant logic. The gotcha that wasn't. And then the receipts. Oh man, the receipts. Swalwell pulls out this old quote about Shapiro discussing his own struggles with sin, thinking, aha, I have exposed you as a hypocrite. Most people would get defensive here. They'd stutter. What does Ben do? I agree with me. The room cracked up because it was so honest. Swalwell is trying to paint him as a villain for having religious beliefs, and Ben just owns it completely. He explains the difference between an orientation and an action, a standard theological distinction. And Swalwell just looks lost. He had the quote on the screen and everything, and it landed with a total thud. The final burr, then, and we have to give a shout-out to the Chairman McClintock at the end. The first rule of holes when you're in one, stop digging. That sums this whole clip up. Swalwell dug a hole, jumped in, and then asked Shapiro for a shovel. This is a perfect example of why you don't bring a script to a debate with someone who thinks on their feet. Swalwell wanted a sound bite, but he ended up being the punchline. What did you guys think? Was the IRS comeback the best moment, or was it the Tinkerbell comment? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more breakdowns like this. See you.